Welcome, faculty, to our book talk on Teaching Naked by Jose Antonio Bowen. I'm very pleased to talk to you about our chapter, which is Chapter 5, Technology for Information Delivery. I've certainly learned some new things in this reading and this chapter, and I hope to share them with you. First of all, how can teachers use classroom time for more than just the content delivery in a course? We give them a reading assignment, and then they come to class and they're not prepared to discuss it. So we get the PowerPoints out and we go over the content, and then the things that are important to us that we really want to do application and other areas of Bloom's taxonomy to raise those levels of engagement get put to the back burner because you're still teaching the content. So students do not read the assigned reading or the textbook or the articles prior to class. Students attempt the readings, but they find the content difficult. And students then are just not prepared to discuss the assigned readings. Is exposure to course content enough for student learning? Well, we don't think so. Faculty want students to master the course content by engaging in higher level thinking skills. Are the higher level thinking skills and processes of content skills sacrificed when students don't comprehend the basic content knowledge? And are students meeting course learning outcomes and goals when they are only mastering course content? And are students' formative and summative assessments meeting the learning course expectations? Do they assess more than just the course content? But we look at application and synthesis and so forth. So how could technology increase course content learning outcomes beyond the basic course content? Basic technology uses such e-communications that will create more class time and opportunities to engage students in higher order learning. So what are those? Emails, which we'll find out are a little bit in the past, but emails, blogs, and Twitter are more immediate and relevant communication forms for today's students. Any of these or other forms of web communication will contribute to more class time for creative thinking, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation of course content, which of course again is Bloom's taxonomy. The B's of implementing e-communication include be consistent, be dependable, be succinct, be brief, be transparent, be on the right channel, and be recording all content. Then, if students perceive an email, students often perceive email as being old-fashioned. So we don't want to summarize course content in emails or try to do application or other levels of thinking skills in emails. And why is that? Because email is less immediate and it perpetuates long, detailed information. You find yourself on the third page of a narrative trying to explain things to students, and they're not reading that either. So email often reflects the long text-like information which students might not read for all details. So how can I show my passion for teaching and increase student learning while using various forms of technology? Most students think that reading is boring, and so students must be inspired to read course content. And what are the effective methods of inspiration to implement in our classrooms so that they will read course content? One way is to introduce the readings through a video. And once you've inspired them with a YouTube or something that shows a relevance to their class that they're studying, that they might delve deeper. And to pose questions that only reading the text will provide the answers. Questions should pose challenges and may provide clues to the answers only through the readings. Podcasts are better than lectures. Well, what is a podcast? A podcast can be an audio or video presentation of any length. They were originally created to send to iPods, but now exists for iPhones, iPads, Dropbox, and clouds. So how are they used in teaching? Podcasts are flexible delivery methods for student comprehension of readings, and they are often used when studying for exams. So if you create a podcast, a video, that helps them to remember the content that is important that they read and maybe forgot, or they didn't read and they have to read now to keep up, you have a summary of that content, and you're engaging them in the learning as they repeat the podcast. So podcasts make teaching more efficient and less time-consuming. Podcasts are video lectures which provide face time for students. So Present Me would be a podcast, and the students that I taught this summer in the doctoral program this fall, we did Present Me's of the course Content Learning, and I think it was very effective. We were teaching. I was teaching strategic planning for profit and nonprofit organizations, and it was a very dense, thick text. So it did give students the opportunity to delve more into the course content. So podcasts save class time for more important activities than delivering course content. And it is requiring students to attend lectures, and requiring students to attend lectures will be an anachronism of the past with podcasts, supposedly. And I think this probably could be, we're moving into that direction a little bit, because I do see that there are opportunities to learn outside of the classroom, and the basic content knowledge, and then having the classroom more sacred for those applications of the knowledge. And Merlot is more than a red wine. So Merlot, and that's the website, offers free learning materials, personal collections of other faculty, and a huge catalog of learning exercises across all disciplines. There is also a virtual speakers bureau to download guest lectures. So if you have a course that you're looking at, that you're going to be teaching, and you go on this website on the merlot.org, you can find guest lectures on your subject. You probably can find additional materials and things that will bring the content down to more of a relevancy to the student in the classroom.
And where can I obtain rigorous lesson plans with online learning podcasts, course lectures, and technological models of instruction? Go online. And there are many online resources available for use from other universities. So university professors and other part-time faculty have posted online at educator.com lesson plans, teaching units, podcasts, and other course lectures that can be used for enhancement in your class. And when is the best time to start teaching naked? Well, never like the present. You may impress your students.
I'm continuing Beverly's great introduction to Chapter 5. I'm going to be demonstrating just 2 quick tools. I would rename Chapter 5 as the taking lots out to have the hots. They're laying the foundation for taking the lower order thinking skills out, which is the transmission of information, the typical lecture, and putting that outside the classroom so that we have time inside the classroom to focus on the higher order thinking skills. Then we talk about flipping the classroom in EDU 379, 579, and we look at Bloom's taxonomy. In Chapter 5, he talks about raising the expectations and expecting more out of our students. When they're used to passive learning, suddenly turning and expecting active learning is where teacher evaluations go down, because when you equate teaching with transmitting, and suddenly we're not the transmitting is being done outside of class, they don't think you're teaching anymore. And the reality is that we're teaching more, literally, and we're teaching the harder stuff to teach. I always say start very small. maybe with a 10-minute introductory video that introduces a topic, and then at least that takes 10 minutes out of the class that you can then focus again on the higher order thinking. You don't have to flip an entire 3-hour class or even an entire 1 hour of lecture. Each little piece you take out allows you to put in something that goes beyond just those lower order thinking skills. To give you just 2 quick tools, first off, you'll notice that I'm in PowerPoint. And in PowerPoint, there is the ribbon up here, there's slideshow. And under slideshow, there's a button here for record slideshow. And you can simply record your slideshow and start recording. And it's going to actually open up your PowerPoint, record your voice, record when you click and advance to the next slide, and when you're all done, you'll see that on your slides there's these little audio symbol right here that demonstrates that your voice has been recorded onto that slide, and you're ready to then save this. And you want to save it, and this is the trick. You're going to go to Save As, and when I go to Save As, I want to make sure, instead of saving it as a PowerPoint presentation, which is what we would normally save as, I'm going to save it as a PowerPoint show. This is a great way to share it with others and allow students to watch, because again, it's completely automated and it will contain your voice and the advancements automatically. The best way to record any type of lecture is when they can not only hear your voice but see you as well. And that's why the tool that Beverly used is such a powerful tool, because it allows them to see the instructor and see the information at the same time. Another tool that we have, a program called Camtasia, and Camtasia allows me to record as the instructor, so that now I can give my lesson and my students can not only see what I'm trying to show them, they can hear my voice and see my face. And again, anytime they can see me, it is a much more personal, powerful lesson for the students. And of course, with Camtasia, I have full editing capabilities. I can add audio, video to it, and I can zoom in to any part of my screen, as well as blur out any confidential information. And now Jennifer is going to show you another tool that we wanted to demonstrate while she presents Chapter 5.
I am coming to you from Google Plus Hangouts in Terry Schoen's office. And I'm going to talk to you just for a couple minutes about some takeaways and some important things that I think I'm going to use in my own classroom after reading this book, Teaching Naked. The 2 main points that I found the most interesting in this chapter are that podcasts are better than lectures. What are podcasts? It's just simply an audio or a video creation of any length. The reason why I feel like it's such a good tool to use in my class is that you're never going to run out of time with a podcast. You can show more examples than you would have time to show in class. So many of us teach to the mean, and when we feel like the class is ready to move on, we kind of stop with our examples and move on. A podcast gives us the opportunity to give more examples for maybe the students that are struggling and need a little bit of extra something. But also, what's interesting is the reverse is true. So if you have advanced students and they get what you're talking about after like one example, with a podcast, they can fast forward and move past those examples. So that's something that I feel like is going to be a good and useful tool for me in my class. The second thing that I found interesting in the chapter was all about e-communication. So many times in Capstone, I probably spend 10 or 15 minutes talking about dates, and this paper is due then, and this observation is due then, and this task needs to happen here. Whereas I could do all that in email. And so I really feel like I need to replace that class time, and for routine communication, I need to use my emails. more than I'm using now, because I really am wasting a lot of valuable time in class. So anyway, those are the 2 things that I took away from the chapter: podcast and effective e-communication. So if you're feeling bored right now watching this like I am, I just want to show you a couple of fun things that Terry has shown me about this whole Google Plus thing. And I think your students would love it. So if you want to change the way you look, you can do that. This is probably more apropos for me. I really prefer this one. We'll take those off. You can just do fun things. Change your background. What's this? Oh, I can put a beard on. Props. Thank you. I know this was a very good presentation. This is probably my favorite, and where I wish that I was right now on the beach. But anyway, Google Plus is a fun thing. If you want a little tutorial, I'm sure Professor Schoen would be more than happy to give it to you. So anyway, I'm going to go play around with this some more, and thanks for watching. Bye.